Look at this crust! Crispy and golden on the outside, but soft, chewy, and full of beautiful air pockets inside. And today, we're making this sourdough cheese pizza completely from scratch. From the dough and homemade tomato sauce to that delicious melted cheese on top. The best part? You don't need any special pizza equipment to make it. Let's start with the dough. Take 630 grams of cold water and 300 grams of 100% hydration sourdough starter. Then add 21 grams of salt and a little olive oil. I'll leave exact measurement on the description. Sourdough pizza takes a little patience, but that extra time is what gives the crust its flavor and texture. I'm combining my ingredients until there are no dry spots left. At this point, the dough doesn't need to look perfectly smooth. We're going to develop the gluten gradually with 4 rounds of stretching, and this is where the dough really starts to transform. After the dough has rested, it's time for the first stretch. Take one side of the dough, gently stretch it upward, and fold it back over itself. Don't pull aggressively. The goal is to stretch the dough without tearing it. After the first round, the dough will still feel fairly loose, and that's completely normal. Here's something important. Don't add lots of extra flour just because the dough feels sticky. That can make the finished crust heavier. After another rest, we'll repeat the process. With every round, you can see the difference. The dough becomes smoother, stronger, and much easier to handle. Stretch the dough for the 3rd time. And finally, the 4th. By this point, the dough should have much more strength and elasticity. And now comes the part that makes sourdough pizza really special: time. Let the dough rest for 20 minutes and place it in the refrigerator overnight. While the dough is fermenting, let's make a simple tomato sauce. And this sauce starts with fresh tomatoes. First, I'm blanching the tomatoes briefly in boiling water. And now the skins come off very easily. This extra step might seem small, but removing the skins gives the sauce a much smoother texture. Next, I'll blend the tomatoes until smooth. It is best to use olive oil for the sauce. I start with the garlic, cut it into large pieces, and fry them until golden brown. You can remove the garlic after frying, but I prefer to leave it in the sauce. I like it that way. Now, pour the crushed tomatoes into the pan. You can use a store-bought sauce for pizza, but my channel is all about making things from scratch and getting great satisfaction out of it. To get a deeper flavor, I grind dried basil and black pepper in a mortar. There are no strict proportions here, just a little bit of everything. Also add paprika, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and salt to taste. The goal isn't to make a complicated sauce. We want the natural flavor of the tomatoes to stay front and center. And don't make the sauce too thick. Remember, it's going to continue cooking on the pizza. Add a tablespoon of lemon juice and simmer briefly to let the excess water evaporate. Look at our dough. It's noticeably puffier, softer, and filled with air. Divide the dough into 6 portions, shape them into balls, and let the dough rest for another hour. This is a crucial step. During this time, the surface of the dough tightens. The shaped piece holds its form and doesn't spread out into a flat pancake. The proteins became tense during the shaping process. The hour of rest relaxes the dough, allowing it to be easily stretched by hand without tearing. After an hour, the dough has reached the right consistency and we can start making the pizza. Dust the dough and the work surface with semolina. Then remove one piece of dough for the pizza. Handle it very carefully so as not to tear it. You need to coat the dough in semolina so it doesn't stick to the work surface. The semolina acts like a dry bearing and absorbs excess moisture from the dough's surface. Semolina doesn't burn as quickly as regular flour and produces a beautiful golden color. This is where you want to be gentle. We worked hard to build those air bubbles, so try not to completely flatten them. Instead of using a rolling pin, I'll gently stretch the dough with my hands, keeping a slightly thicker edge for that beautiful crust. And this is the moment when you can really see whether all that fermentation paid off. Now for the homemade tomato sauce. I'm spreading a thin layer over the dough, leaving the edges mostly uncovered. You can stretch the pizza a little to give it the desired shape, and then comes the cheese. You don't need to cover every inch with a mountain of cheese. A balanced amount allows the crust, sauce, and cheese to work together. And we're ready for the oven. It goes into a very hot oven. The high heat is important because we want the crust to puff quickly while the outside becomes beautifully golden. Look at those bubbles forming around the edges. The cheese is melting, the crust is browning, and the tomato sauce is bubbling underneath. And here it is. Golden, crispy around the edges, soft and chewy in the center, with that homemade tomato sauce and plenty of melted cheese. But the real test is the crust. Look at those air pockets! That's exactly what we were working toward with those 4 rounds of stretching and all that fermentation time. If you enjoyed this recipe, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more homemade recipes from our kitchen. And I'll see you in the next one.